Dallas Cowboys versus the Denver Broncos. Sponsored by...
Well, of course, this is the first time the Super Bowl has ever been played indoors, and this is one terrific place. I'm glad to report that both Tom and I have recovered from those activities that they were just talking about. Tom, this is some building.
Well, the thing that I'm thinking about, I'm split. I'm an old Colorado Buffalo, and I remember when Denver first started in the AFL, and it wasn't that much of a team, and I've grown to appreciate the Dallas Cowboys. I'm sort of caught between it today.
Well, who are you going to pick?
Little D.
What does Little D mean?
Well, you got to figure out which city I'm talking about, don't you?
While I'm thinking about what that does mean, that Little D pick of Mr. Brookshire's, let's go back to Brent Phillips and Irving.
Coming out.
Watch the two coming out.
Okay, we're headed down here now toward Bourbon Street. You can see that we've still got fans along the way. Fellas, there's the old Absinthe House.
One of the most popular bars and the oldest wine shop here in New Orleans. It's been here since 1807, and all these folks are waiting to get in. Maybe we'll...
Multiple offense, they do so many things that it keeps the defense honest.
Think they might try to confuse Denver today, Jimmy?
No question about it. I'm sure that Landry will come up with many new wrinkles.
But that's a tough Bronco defense.
That's no question. I guess you're right about that. Rizzo, Swenson, Jackson, Gradishar, they're the ones that are so quick, that have forced fumbles, that have kept Denver winning all this season.
They always seem to be around the loose ball, Greek.
That's because they're so quick and they get to it. They play the ball because of their quickness.
Jackson, the weak side man, he's pretty good at picking off a pass, isn't he?
Yes, he is, but he also commits himself on occasions, and Starbuck could take advantage of it.
Now, what about Gradishar's health? He's another key man.
Well, 2 weeks ago, he was hurting some. He's probably at 90-95%.
Here is Gradishar right now with that interception and bringing it back for the Denver Broncos. Now, the defensive front. What about Harvey Martin? He could have a field day against the Broncos.
Well, supposedly, he's going to take big advantage of the tackle that he goes against. But Miller will bring Lytle over to help him out in case he has a problem.
Now, besides Martin, there's also Big Too Tall Jones, who's been tough in the playoffs. How about Tom Henderson blitzing here, Greek?
He is one of the best, and he's also on the special teams. This guy is a tremendous ball player. But Denver uses first-string players.
Running game. Tony Dorsett, is he healthy?
They say he's at 90-95%, but everybody will be well today.
Artificial turf. He can use his quickness.
It helps Dallas because they play on it more than Denver.
And here is Tony Dorsett, the Offensive Rookie of the Year. But hey, how about that intangible check you got for the Broncos?
You know, it's hard to give someone a luck team, but this is the luck team. The ball seems to fall in their hands, and they've won 12 games.
Greek, that's all fine and good, but where was that big check?
Listen, I've got to ask all my friends here, so you're going to have to give me a little time.
You want me to help you out?
Please.
Who likes Denver? Who likes Dallas? It's impossible, folks. You can't get a word in edgewise.
And so, that's how it's going right now in the French Quarter. Still to come are the coaches. Nick Bonaconte, as the Super Bowl today continues its voyage towards the Louisiana Super Bowl.
Lombardi coached Green Bay for the last time, and the Packers gave Vince his last championship. Once again, it was the passing of Bart Starr, this time to Boyd Dowler, that enabled the Packers to beat the Oakland Raiders 33-14 in Super Bowl II. Of course, Johnny U remembers Super Bowl III only too well. Old number 19 saw young number 12, Joe Namath, make good on his brash boast that the Jets would beat the Colts. The Jets' unbelievable 16-7 upset victory brought the American Football League its first Super Bowl championship. In Super Bowl IV, Kansas City followed up on Joe's claim to league equality by beating the Vikings 23-7 behind Hank Stram's subtle play calling.
65 horsepower trap. That might pop wide open, Rats. Yes, sir, Rats. Yeah! Dementor. 65 horsepower trap. Yeah! Yeah! I tell you, that baby is there. Yes, sir, boys. Woo!
Johnny U was involved again in Super Bowl V when Jim O'Brien's field goal in the final seconds brought Baltimore a 16-13 victory over the Cowboys. An old guard NFL team became the first AFC team to win a Super Bowl. But when Dallas returned the next year, Roger Staubach led the Cowboys to a 24-3 victory over the Miami Dolphins in Super Bowl VI. Sonny's old team, the Washington Redskins, played in Super Bowl VII, but Sonny did not. An injury during the regular season caused Jergy to miss the game, which was won by the Dolphins 14-7. The most valuable player was Bob Greasy, the 6th time in the first 7 Super Bowls that a quarterback won the award. But the run on most valuable quarterbacks ended in Super Bowl VIII. In the Dolphins' second straight Super Bowl victory, Larry Zonka rushed for a record 145 yards in Miami's 24-7 victory over Minnesota. The following season, Franco Harris rolled over those same Vikings for 158 yards, while Pittsburgh was winning Super Bowl IX, 16-6. Steelers joined the Packers and Dolphins as consecutive Super Bowl winners with a 21-17 victory over the Cowboys in Super Bowl X. And this time it was a receiver who was most valuable, Lynn Swann, who caught 4 passes for a record 161 yards. Last year, John Madden and the Oakland Raiders finally scaled the summit of NFL supremacy. And again, a wide receiver was the star. Fred Biletnikoff set up 3 Raider touchdowns in Oakland's 32-14 victory over the Vikings in Super Bowl XI. Who will claim the 12th Super Bowl trophy? Well, a whole lot of people are waiting to find out. For the stature of the game has been greatly enhanced over the years. The Super Bowl is no longer a spectacle. It's a spectacular event, one that today focuses the eyes of a nation, indeed the world, on the Superdome in New Orleans and Super Bowl XII.
Closer and closer to kickoff now.
Excuse me, Fred. I'd like to just say something on behalf of Irvin myself. It's been 3 years now that we've been working with you, the last 14 weeks of regular action, 2 weeks of playoffs, this last week of festivities here in New Orleans, and you have yet to make a prediction, and we're very upset about it. We want to hear it from you right now, right, Irv?
Give it to us,
Well, Dallas has an awful lot of talent, the computers. Denver,
Start with the computers. We want the real stuff.
All right, I've got to finally make a prediction. But before I do, I want to hear a final word from all of our experts around the stadium. Let's start off with Pat Summerall and Tom Brookshire. Some final words, gentlemen.
All right, Brent, thank you very much. What do you think, Tom?
I hope nobody gets hurt, and I hope it's a whale of a game, and as long as the best team wins today, I could care less.
Unlike what a lot of people think, I think it's going to be a game just dominated by the D. Defense is going to decide it. I'm not sure who. Let's see what Paul Hornung thinks.
Well, Pat, I got to admit, my heart is colored orange this afternoon, but down deep, my better judgment says Dallas 21, Denver 10. What about you, Nick?
Well, I think it's a Denver crush. It's going to squeeze just enough juice out of that Dallas offense to make it Denver 21, Dallas 17. Sonny?
Well, I'm in the radio booth up here. 2 evenly matched teams with great defensive squads. And I just think turnovers are going to be the big key to this thing. John, what do you think?
Well, I think if emotion and enthusiasm mean anything in a ball game, and I believe that they do, then I have to go with Denver 20, Dallas 16. Gary?
They say there's no pressure like the pressure of a Super Bowl. The Cowboys have been here 3 times. By virtue of that fact, I picked the Cowboys by a touchdown over the Denver Broncos. Now let's go to Hank Stram.
When you talk about sentiment, I think you have to go with Denver, but if you talk about talent, skill, and ability, it has to be Dallas. I picked Dallas 24-16.
All right, here. Statistics show that Dallas is the favorite, but the fact that Denver played the harder schedule neutralizes that situation. Plus the fact it's the year of the horse with a cowboy riding, which makes it another even situation. So Mr. Wessler and Mr. Frank, get the CBS crews ready for the 5th quarter. It's dead even.
Well, I picked Denver and Dallas to be here at the Superdome. They did that for me, but now we got to pick the one we want. I guess I'm going to have to go along with Dallas, although I've been terribly impressed by the Denver Broncos and their reaction from the fans as well as the players. But it's going to be Dallas, a touchdown over Denver.
Because I'm pretty
much of a fundamentalist. I'm not very good at picking points or who's going to score that many touchdowns during the course of the game, but the Dallas Cowboys have everything on offense and defense. They're a well-coached team and have great talent. I have to pick them to win. So, Brent, those are our predictions. Now, give it to us. What do you think?
Well, I had all the biorhythms run through a computer here, folks. I've got them all.
Is this what you've been doing for the last 14 weeks, 2 weeks
Well, I'll tell you what it says about Dallas. Let's take a look at Roger Staubach. Coupled with Dallas having low bios on Staubach and the receiving crew, and Denver's secondary with high bios, it will seem as if Dallas has left their passing game in Texas. Look for at least 2 of Roger's throws to be picked off. So I think I'm going to have to go with the biorhythmic chart. The Denver Broncos 17, the Dallas Cowboys 13. Can you imagine Jimmy the Greek still picking that game even? You've been jumping on me and I got off the hook. One thing to remember, one statistic. The Oakland Raiders have lost the American Football Conference Championship game a total of 6 times. And in each of those 6 occasions, their conqueror has come to the Super Bowl and won the championship. Denver this evening is going to try to make it 7 in a row. For a few final words, let's go down to Jack Whitaker on the floor of the Superdome. Jack?
Well, Brent, I doubt if any more words can be written or spoken about this football game until it's over. We're coming to the end, ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, of a long, long, winding road that eventually ends with this championship game. In a few minutes, we're actually, all of us, going to see Denver play Dallas football here in the Louisiana Superdome that sits like a giant lawn sprinkler west of Canal Street in New Orleans, Louisiana. For Denver fans, this dome is mountain ranges away from their mile-high stadium. But they have swept into this town like snowflakes looking for a blizzard. And they have stained the French quarter orange with all the exuberance of college students. The Dallas fans have been a little more sedate. After all, they've been here before. And the dome isn't that much different from their Texas stadium. Just a little bigger and without a hole in the roof. And those people in New Orleans this week that stop to think and talk about football were saying things like Dallas is experienced, Denver's emotional, Denver beat better people to get here, Dallas dominated their conference. Well, whatever happens in the next 2.5 hours, this game will be remembered for 2 things. The first Super Bowl to be played indoors, the first Super Bowl to have Denver participating. Let's hope it will also be remembered because it was an exciting and well-played football game. So, ladies and gentlemen, here it is. Close encounters for the 12th time. Star Wars inside the championship game. Ladies and gentlemen, Super Bowl 12.
The Super Bowl today is sponsored by Tuborg Gold, the golden beer of Danish kings. Tuborg Breweries Limited, Baltimore, Maryland. B.F. Goodrich, tires you can trust. We're the other guys. And by Orange Crush, the taste that's all its own. The Super Bowl today is sponsored by Ford and your Ford dealer, who invite you to see their better ideas for '78, including Fairmont, the Ford in your future. The Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. Avis, the We Try Harder car rental company. And by the people in your town who bottle Coca-Cola. Coke adds life to just about everything you do.
Well, as you can see, the Superdome is stuffed, and in spite of what you might think, by now they are going to play, Denver and Dallas. Welcome to Super Bowl 12. I'm Pat Summerall with Tom Brookshire, and what is that apparatus?
This is the first Denver sock in 1960, and we used to call them the Wyoming JVs. It was a bad-looking sock. They were a bad-looking team, and Red Miller and Company have come a long way in 17 years.
They really have, and by the way, as the game progresses, you might notice that some of the Broncos have on a sock just like that, in tribute to their long-time fans. What do you think about the contest?
You know, Pat, we look back, the only NFC team to win the Super Bowl other than Dallas were the Green Bay Packers a long time ago. And I have a feeling the first quarter is sort of the way it's done. If you're a new team coming in, it's all reflex now for both teams. But if Denver would get behind early in the first quarter and try to play catch-up, then I think Denver would be doomed. I think the first quarter is really going to decide whether Denver is really in this football game solid and might be able to win it.
When you look at the two quarterbacks, Craig Morton, of course, for Denver, and Roger Staubach, there are amazing similarities as far as them as human beings and birthdays, too.
Yeah, they were born the same day, a year apart, we understand. One was drafted by Dallas in '65, #1 draft, and Roger went to the service, so actually the Cowboys took him a year before, round number 10. Great organizations. They're well paid, and it's just an American championship game. I don't even want to use the other term, okay?
I have thoughts about Denver's defense, and there is our welcome, and we thank you very much for that. I think Reuben Carter, the nose guard, is the key to that defense. If he can reach a stalemate with two of the men in the middle, they have a good chance. And, of course, we'll be watching Tony Dorsett.
I sort of look for Dallas maybe to safety blitz early and get Craig Morton either out of the game or out of the pocket. They did this in the last football game of the season when the two met, regular season, and Craig did leave that time, and he has a bad hip, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Harris or somebody comes steaming early the first time he cocks it.
During the week, we watched both teams practice, and Craig was throwing the ball very well. He looked like he was having no physical problems, but still he's a little bit tender, I think.
How about the fact on Super Bowl Saturday night when Red Miller, the Coach of the Year, and Craig Morton, the Player of the Year in the AFC, showed up the night before the game to accept their trophies? A lot of pizzazz.
Red Miller, when we asked him what was his secret of success, he said it's very simple. Every day that we meet, I look every player on the Denver Broncos squad in the eyes. He knows to expect that every day. What a place to play. The Superdome in New Orleans. And this has got to be one of the toughest times to get in here.
Yeah, but you know, the guy at home may have the best seat in the house. As great as this is, the other side ain't too bad today.
That's right. I hope they enjoy what we have to say and what you have to see as much as we're going to enjoy bringing it to you.
That's a 10-acre roof. 10 acres is the roof.
297 feet straight up from the floor. Ladies and gentlemen, let's meet the Dallas Cowboy offense. At left tackle, number 73, Ralph Neely. At left guard, number 68, Herbert Scott. The center, number 62, John Fitzgerald. At right guard, number 64, Tom Rafferty. The right tackle, number 67, Pat Donovan. The tight end is number 89, Billy Joe Dupree. At wide receiver, number 83, Golden Richard. The other wide receiver, number 88, Drew Pearson. Number 12 is the quarterback, Roger Staubach. At running back, number 33, Tony Dorsett. The other running back, number 44, Robert Newhouse. Tom Landry and the rest of the Dallas Cowboys. Defensive lineup for the Denver Broncos. Bronco defense. Number 79 at left end, Barney Shavis. The nose tackle is number 68, Reuben Carter. Number 77 at right end, Lyle Alzado. Left linebacker, number 51, Bob Swenson. Left inside linebacker, number 59, Joe Rizzo. Right inside linebacker, number 53 is Randy Gradishaw. Number 57, Tom Jackson. Number 20, Louis Wright, left cornerback. At right cornerback, number 43 is Steve Foley. Strong safety, number 36, Bill Thompson. And at free safety, number 29, Bernard Jackson. And Red Miller and the rest of the Broncos. There's a man who's done one heck of a job, Red Miller.
Only 17 years around pro football. Denver, St. Louis, Baltimore, Boston, and back to Denver. Also was at New England, helped set up the offense.
A fine collection of cheerleaders as well as a fine collection of football players on both sides.
The Dallas girls got exposure, and now I guess everybody in the world wants to see representatives from somewhere else.
Good representative.
Looked like a lot of 9-9s in that line.
I can't remember a Super Bowl, and I've been to every one of them. It's more packed with more emotion. Ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention to the center of the field, where one of professional football's immortals, Red Grange of the Chicago Bears, will toss the coin for the captains to call. Red is escorted by Miss America, Susan Perkins.
Will you call it in the air, please? Tails. What is it? What is it? It is tails. Dallas has won the toss. Kick to receive. Dallas will receive. Score, will you defend? All right, turn around, please. Denver will kick off. Dallas will defend this goal and receive. Dallas will receive. Good luck.
Patrick, that, of course, was Jim Tunney, the head official. Would you believe that Dallas might want to throw the football on the opening play or so? Would you say that's a possibility?
Possible. I was just thinking, how do you choose which end you're going to defend? There is no end, of course. Tough choice. And now to honor America, our national anthem is sung by Miss Phyllis Kelly, accompanied by the Southern University Band. about to play. And let me introduce to you the officials for today's game. The referee, Jim Tunney, working his 3rd Super Bowl. The umpire, Joe Connell. Head linesman, Tony Materi. Line judge is Art Holt. Back judge, Ray Douglas. The field judge is Bob Wortman. The alternates, Cal Lepore and Frank Sinkovich.
That crew, by the way, has 97 years experience, so we are getting good eyes on all plays.
As I mentioned, this is number 3 for Jim Tunney. They are chosen just like the teams are chosen. They are chosen because they are the best.
Is that the reason we're here?
We're here because we're lucky.
Because we like it, too. Remember, Denver has to give the ball up. And if you get behind Dallas early, I'm afraid you might start overcompensate. And they've got to be so pumped up.
That is the veteran Jim Turner. Lining up to kick off. Lonnie Perrin had done some of the kicking. And deep for Dallas, number 36 is Larry Brinson. Number 80.